of those things to automate that and make it easier. So you can actually go through and have it spider eBay for, XYZ company name, and if that shows up in any of the pictures, it'll give you back all the auctions. But yeah, it's an awesome point. It's about using your resources and doing that intel gathering, right? Figuring out what the company is, who's in it, and what do they use, and using that as an attack mentality, not a what IP address do I have to go after.
Okay, I think those tests are mainly targeted for big companies, etc. But how the hell do you sell such security tests to companies? I mean, you have to get some strong agreements, some out-of-jail cards, etc. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't see such a market here in Belgium or in smaller countries where you have no big companies.
That's an awesome question. So how do you sell a pen test?
For example?
I mean,
how do you tell the boss, hey, I'm going to do a test, I can probably put down some servers or steal stuff from you, but hey, no biggie.
Well, it's not, as much fun as I can make of it. Like I said, it's a method, and it's tactical, and it's built around a process, and it's something that you can show them empirical results. So it's not, hey, I'm going to go break into your shit, even though I'll say it like that. We want to do an effective test of controls to understand if the defenses that we have work. The only way that we can do so is by attacking resources. So we're going to show how resources get attacked. And through that, you're going to work them through all these different ideas of how their layers of defense get attacked, how their firewall gets attacked because we have directed styles on the outside, because how their email filtering works, how the on-box antivirus works, how the IDS works because we're sending client-side attacks, how phishing works, how the training is worked in their company, how tailgating works, if you can walk directly into the building or not. And these are questions that people want to have answered and believe that they have the answers, but have never tested to prove yes or no, is that control designed effectively? Right? In the auditor world, they go test of design, test of effectiveness. Red teaming is the test of effectiveness. It says everything that we spent money on, does it work? And will it protect us? Or do we not know? And so this connects them to knowing and getting an understanding of how to improve those initial controls. Does that help?
Yep, thanks.
Cool.
My question is a bit related to the previous one. Are there major differences between the States and Europe in a mentality of like helping somebody carry out a machine or IDs? Like we have biometrics on our personal IDs, I assume, not now, but we have electronic ID cards, we have keys on our ID cards that encrypt data, that have a unique identifier. You can of course abuse it, but with a PIN code exchange, for example. But I don't think that in Belgium or Europe, probably depending on the region, it's easy to walk into a building and have somebody help carry out something without first verifying and clarifying paperwork, etc.
We'll go all the way back to most there. Her. You know where that was? In Norway?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's Norwegian.
Right, but fine, be like that.
I mean, they populated the States, you know.
All right, fair enough. I personally have not had it be different, even though I agree that there are some extreme cultural differences. At the end of the day, when you build rapport with someone, no matter what their color, creed, religion, or anything else is, people are people. And if you're friendly with someone and you have rapport built, they'll help you do anything. If you show that that's a reciprocal return with them. I do agree that I think it's harder here, and that you have to work a lot more with all those crazy technologies that I was talking about and do an SE. You absolutely have to do way more of that with someone here to pass their generic, what layman's term, right, their bullshit test. If you get around that, it's a lot harder to get around the bullshit test here than it is in the States because we're dumb. Whatever. Thanks. But it works the same way. You just got to push a little bit more.
Hi. Here.
What's up?
I'm good. You. I was just wondering where even you would draw the line, because you're telling us pretty much that everything's allowed. So I think you can run into a shitload of problems with that. Let's say, for example, would you go through private emails of employees to search for interesting data? Is that allowed?
Is it on the company network? Because if it is, the company owns it, and the company hired me.
Sometimes it's a gray area, right? I mean, the thing is, if somebody's using his laptop in the company area, and then he's using it at home, and he has...
Should they be?
No, they shouldn't, of course. I mean, it depends. So we're testing
control by showing that exposure, right?
Depends on what the company allows.
Okay.
I think so.
So the tests should be based on how the company operates, right? And part of how you conduct a test, you have to make sure that you're testing things that are relevant, right? If they go, I let people put sensitive data on Twitter, then I can't show them that in the report because they're like, I don't care. We're supposed to do that, right? I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but as an example.
But the thing is, you may not run into problems with the company itself, but with the employee, for example. So what if the employee sues you because he says, oh well, that's good for me or good for the company that you did the test, but you rummaged through my private data. That's not fair, and I'm going to sue you. Or the copy shop owner who says, oh well, it's fine that you have a get out of jail free card from the company, but I don't care. You rummaged through my stuff. I let you, okay, but now I'm going to sue you. Isn't that a problem for you?
Never. It doesn't hold up in court, number one. Number two, that data that was from the target company is owned by the target company and under the justification of our engagement.
Okay.
On the personal side, I mean, you got to do it with discretion. You can't be Mike Tyson just going around knocking everybody out, right? I mean, so it's like a pen test, right? You can't just go randomly hack stuff because you're like, oh, cool, look at this. 137's open, 139. I'm going to just beat the crap out of this thing. Oh, I don't own it. Whatever. You have to have some discretion. It has to be focused, right? It's not about a random test. It's not about doing tests in a manner that has loose flexibility. This is a flexible process that follows a methodology for specific results, which is things that are important to the data. And the reason I make that slide of find out what's important and steal it is because that person's data is not important. What's important is the company that I'm testing and how their brand or the confidentiality or their intellectual property and those types of things can be taken. And if that person is sending out confidential data and I happen to come across it in their personal network during my test, you will be sure my client knows about that because they need to go to jail. So I hear and understand, but when you start doing these types of tests, it's very clear what's in scope and not in scope. And when it's, Sally's pictures of, her sexting her new boyfriend while her husband's watching, well, if you look at that, that's your fault, not mine. Right? So you have to have that kind of personal discretion and focus solely on the task and stay in the process. Because if you go outside of it, yeah, you'll probably get all sorts of neat stuff from the attack, but you'll also offend that client relationship. But it's a perfect question.
So you draw the line, but you tell us just go for the gold, and that's where I'm with you. That's what I think is very important.
Absolutely, it's follow the process. Anything that leads me to the gold is what I need to be investigating in. Yeah. There's a million avenues, and if I take this go rummage through this dude's email, I'm just being ADD and I'm not paying attention to what I'm supposed to be doing, so I need to get back on the path and go for the sensitive stuff. He had one over here. Wait, you had one, then, yeah, I don't know. Or back? Whatever. I don't know.
Just a short question. adding also to the question before, what if you're going to violate the law, for example, the wiretap?